Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're getting close. We're getting close to getting the first reviews of Disney's Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser hotel for people with entirely too much money they don't know what to do with.
Right. I mean, from the trusted media.
From the trusted media. We're going to talk about this because the approved media people, aka shills. I mean, actually, the people on Disney's approved media list are getting to go into the Galactic Starcruiser this week. They're not allowed to talk about it until Friday.
There is an embargo until Friday, which we talked about embargoes on the video we did the other day with the toys. And that basically just means that they aren't allowed to post things about it until a set time. And then you will see all the same hashtags with all the same pictures and all the same talking points all appear around the same time.
We're going to talk about that because literally before we did Clownfish TV, the last job was being a member of Disney's approved media list. Literally got paid to go to and talk about Disney parks. And so I know the drill pretty well. I know how it works. And I'm telling you, you're not going to get an honest opinion. I don't think anybody expected there to be an honest
You're not
opinion.
allowed to, because even if you try to, which you did with Toy Story Land, you gave a couple of points of negativity, which were, they weren't even negativity. They were like, it's awfully hot. They should really consider putting in more shade. And that got you in trouble.
Yes, it did. Even constructive criticism is viewed as negativity by Disney. So we're going to talk about this. And yeah, if you're going to plunk down $6,000 or whatever it is to go to this thing, wait a couple of months until normies actually go, general public actually goes, and you'll get a better idea of whether or not it's worth it. Because even when they do these events, they make sure when they know the media is coming, you get the most primo version of the event. Like, that ride is going to be spotless. The food is going to look photo worthy.
Right, because they're going to take pictures of it.
Yes.
It's like when they used to do the movies or shows and the food critic was coming for the restaurant and they would act like they do. It's like that. So
literally like that. Exactly like that. So we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 258,000 subs.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for the support. We do talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company in various capacities over the last 15 plus years.
It's been long, yeah.
It's been a while. Worked on Disney Comics.
Had Disney Media Access.
Had Disney Media Access. No, you were not a seamstress at Disney. I don't know where
I got that
came
from. Yeah.
That never happened.
No.
That never happened. But we have had animated series optioned by Disney, worked on comic books for Disney, and our last blog was, frankly, bought and paid for by Disney. That's just kind of the way it works. Like, if you have approved media access and you're working with like an agency or something, they basically give them money to give you to keep the blog running. The trade-off is you really can't be honest.
No, but you have to go to every event, even if
Yes.
it doesn't make sense to come down. Now, piratesandprincesses.net is the current blog we have. We don't have it up right now. But it actually is the one where we said, like, let it fly. Don't care. We'll just be honest.
Like a fart that's trending.
I know. I wondered about that, but I was like, I'm not going to take the time to look. But it was funny because I had seen in lockstep today several different places that are Disney blogs, like the ones that have access, that are like the ones that kiss their ass and everything's wonderful and pixie dust and magic. You were going on about yesterday. They were posting, we're going to the Starcruiser tomorrow. Make sure you ask us our questions. Make sure you give us questions. We're going to cover it on Friday. We're going to Starcruiser. Yay, yay, yay. And I'm like, oh, because the media access is going to start this week.
Yep.
So I mentioned it because I said, the trusted outlets and lockstep are coming out and saying it. And it was funny to me because I also noticed that WW News Today was also said it too. Media previews of the Starcruiser begin today, and embargo will lift on Friday. These outlets and influencers are not paying for the experience and would like to be invited to more of these sorts of things. So I'd wait to hear from those that are paying, starting on March 1st, which I completely agree with.
Yeah, so they were, now I mean, this is just hearsay rumor. They were actually on the media list and then they got disinvited for reasons, but probably because they were too negative. But Disney, yeah. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, if you are on Disney's approved media list, and it takes a while to get there, But once you make it on the list, there are different tiers, different levels of influencers. They have their A-listers, and then they got the B-listers. And so it's basically like, we're going to let somebody like Tim Tracker get better access than the rest of you plebs, but then sometimes they'll mix the Tim Trackers in with the other plebs. And I guess he's been canceled now, hasn't he?
I don't know. Last I heard, I haven't been checking.
But you are expected to effectively be an employee. So if they give you a day or two's notice that they're going to have a cupcake party, at Typhoon Lagoon, you have to drop everything you're doing and get your ass over to Typhoon Lagoon.
That's a very specific example.
That is
that just happens to be a coincidence.
A very specific example. So, we live near Pittsburgh. So for me, I had to travel every time, one of these events would come up, and it was on both coasts. It was California and Florida. And it sounds like people are like, oh, first world problems. I'm like, yeah, I would make a trip to California and Florida. Actually, the one week I think it was
Florida,
California, then back to Florida.
And then Florida again, yes.
And this was of the course of 10 days. And yeah, you run your ass ragged, but you have to go, because I was told in no uncertain terms that if you miss one of these events, that's it. You're off the media list.
It'd be a real shame.
It would be a real shame if something happened to your media access. Now, that being said, when they get you there, especially for something big like the Galactic Starcruiser or the opening of Galaxy's Edge, I actually was in Galaxy's Edge as they were building it. They roll out the red carpet. They do. They give you the most primo version of the experience that anybody will ever get. Because, I know Geeky's pouting over here.
I am, because
She wanted to go. She wanted to go. That it's very complicated. It's very complicated. The parting of the ways, but they do roll out the red carpet. They give you, if they've got a new drink or a new cupcake, it is the most photogenic cupcake
version of it, you
have ever seen. This is not what the general public is going to get.
Not usually. Then there's usually threads dedicated to what they're given when they actually get there.
Expectation versus reality. This is kind of like my friend who was in the service. He was stationed in Okinawa, and he was telling me, he was like, man, in Japan, he's like, the McDonald's food, when you get it, it actually looks like it does on the menu board. He said over here they don't care, but in America, they don't care, but in Japan, it looks like it does on the menu board. And I was shocked. And that's kind of what happens at Disney. The version you're going to see these influencers, show off.
Or the ones they put on their Disney Parks blog or whatever.
Yeah, and they were, I remember distinctly one time, and it literally was cupcakes. It was cupcakes, and they were on Main Street, and they had us all line up. We had the hashtags, whatever, to take pictures of this damn cupcake. And they had freaking air blowing on it to make sure the icing didn't melt. And it had all the right lighting on it, to make sure that the cup. It's I felt like we're going to worship the fucking cupcake. Go to the cupcake, kneel before the cupcake. But
kiss the cupcake's ring.
Kiss the cupcake's ring. But you go take pictures, and then they literally would check, at least at the group I was in for the last thing I was at, which was the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. They would literally check everybody's social media feeds to make sure you were posting the right thing at the right time with the right hashtags. They'd check your interaction. And if you weren't getting much interaction, they would grill you as to why. Well, how come your Instagram's not doing so hot, but Facebook is?
I don't know, because maybe I have more followers on Facebook than I do on Instagram.
And that was our case. We had way more Facebook followers, and they're like, oh, I don't know, but your Instagram's.
Then why? I'd be like, why does your shitty cupcake look like this here, and then a week from now look like something different? Explain that to my readers.
Then they would literally call up their media. Hey guys, good news! Pop Sugar is running an article, and it's featuring some of your tweets and your Instagram.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
I remember Pop Sugar asking if they could use it.
Yeah, oh my God, such a surprise!
But Disney used to partially own Pop Sugar too.
They invested in Pop Sugar so they could do shit like this. So it's all coordinated. It's actually kind of insidious, but it's promotion. It's a marketing thing. So you're not. The long and short of it is, there's no way in hell you're going to get an honest opinion.
Some of the bigger places get away with it. If they I think Disney Food Blog sometimes gets away with stuff, and I would say the Diz gets away with stuff sometimes, being a little more honest. And the reason being is because they're so big, and they have so much legitimate followers and things that they cut them a little more slack. But for the most people, it's like, I remember even reading people were talking about how do you get Disney media access? And I was like, oh, I got to read this. And some mommy blogger telling all the other mommy bloggers, make sure you're always positive, only positivity, constantly give them glowing praise and tell them how great they are and never be negative ever. And I'm like, yeah, that pretty much is about it. I mean, because if you've been negative once, like, well, sucks to be you.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter if it's your own thing. Like, they'll cut you loose. Now, again, I think it does come down to numbers, because in the case of the Diz, it's actually owned by Pete Warner, who actually is a pretty nice guy. I met Pete a couple times.
You sat with Tim Tracker before, too.
I did. I had brunch with him.
Why do we know? We're just jealous because we don't have access.
Yeah, you're just a seamstress or
That's
some
right,
shit
right.
like that. I don't know. But yeah, and he's the top Disney travel agent. So he's making them money, and Disney can't really afford to piss him off. They continually piss him off by screwing over his clients with subpar experiences and price gouging. But yeah, they can't really afford to piss him off. And same with Tim Tracker. He had, a million some subs or something like that on YouTube. They couldn't really afford to piss him off until
I did anyway.
Twitter got him jealous. Disney Twitter got him canceled. They dug up some shit from like 12 years. Like, oh, this isn't the kind of brand ambassadors you want there, Disney. Pick me instead.
Only be positive. Only kiss their ass.
Does not work that way.
I mean, come on. You got these people that show up to like the opening of Galaxy's Edge in a tutu. I mean, come on.
That's what they want. That's their demographic.
But yeah, so anyway, right now Twitter is talking about it, and it's funny to me because if you look at the latest tweets, a lot of people are bringing up that, oh, here we are, we're going to start seeing
the exact same thing. It's the same sign. Yep. Same
here
hashtag.
We are. See, they are. It's starting. They're not going to be able to talk about the inside until Friday, but you're just trying to start seeing this, oh, we're going to talk about it. We're here. A lot of people are calling it out, though. They're like, just wait to see, what happens. But yeah, it's funny. Oh, look, there's another one.
Yep.
Going radio silent because I'm getting to go to do the Starcruiser.
Yep. Here, I've been. You know what? I don't miss it. I honestly, God, I don't really care if I go back. I mean, we've got annual passes. I don't even give a shit if I go back to Disney anytime soon, because I'm so pissed at the price gouging and the. Like, I know you want to go back, but I'm just like, I don't care.
I do want to go.
Care.
I mean, but the prices is getting to a place that I'm just like, no, But it's just funny to me because you're going to see in lockstep, and so, especially Friday, go start comparing the ones that got to go. And they're all got the same damn pictures, the same damn talking point, the same hashtags. I think Instagram would be a little more obvious than Twitter. Because they literally give you assigned hashtags for this shit.
TikTok, yeah, they're not. Here's the thing. The truth is, Disney doesn't really give a shit about Twitter. They flat out said, at least a couple of years ago, that they were focusing primarily on Instagram. TikTok was new. But
now it's TikTok.
Now it's TikTok, but it was Instagram. Like,
yeah,
they were
like
all
here.
about Instagram,
it
Snapchat.
Was like, they were like trying to, harnessing the power of influencers. They were trying to, buy people up to bring them in, to get them to use their audiences to promote them. That's why they had the stupid hashtag walls, hashtag purple wall,
They
and that
explained
shit.
it to, I think I said this in a video before.
You have.
Disneyland, when I was out there for the opening of Pixar Pier, we were out there. And they were talking about the walls, and the walls were accidental. Like, the first couple of Instagram walls were accidental, and then they started manufacturing the Instagram walls. And then they started manufacturing, like, they knew they were going to have a new wall, so they would make sure they would have, like,
merchandise,
cupcakes, drinks, all the stuff available as soon as, the wall went live. And in fact, when we were there, they took us over to the brand new spontaneous up wall.
Yes.
And we all had to take our picture holding the damn balloons with the hashtags, hashtag up wall. Oh my God, you guys get a sneak peek at the brand new wall. I'm like, where are the fucking rides?
That's
what I want is a ride.
I know, right? That people want. I would be more impressed with a company if they actually they were so proud of their product and they had so much faith in their product that they actually find people who are questioning or who have doubts, and they bring those people in and win them over. Or at least let them be honest. I would have more respect then. I think the guests would have more respect then. But they won't do that because they're so afraid of anything bad, that they might lose money. Well, maybe not execute ideas so shitty, and then you won't have to worry about it.
Well, I think what happened was the Disney influencer thing was kind of accidental. It was guys like Pete Warner, who was, he started the Diz like 20 some years ago. And, they got this big following for talking about Disney and being objective. And then what happened was Disney started giving them perks, and that became
expected,
and then literally a way to make a living for some people. I mean, I can't say anything. I did it for a couple of years, made a living on it.
And then until we saw what it was, and then we're like, no, this is bullshit. And the thing is, it's like, so then, because you tried to be honest. Like, you're like, okay, cool, I'll be honest. And they'll tell you, oh, no, tell people what you think. But they don't really want you to tell people what you think. Because you're literally saying, hey, it's too hot, need some damn shade, got you in trouble. And then they turn around and put shade in anyway because you were not wrong.
I misnamed so we had a couple of experiences where we were given like tours and whatever. They would, before we could run the article.
Oh, yeah, the committee.
They would run because, they had the tour guide come in, whatever. They would run it through their committee to make sure, and they were actually having us put like trademarks and registered symbol on names. The fastest I've ever heard from anybody at Disney was when I accidentally misnamed the Void Star Wars experience, and I've left something out of the title or something. And I'm like, no, you need to put it's like, Star Wars brand, whatever. It's like, why?
Trademark.
Who gives a
copyright.
shit? I didn't even, at that point, I hadn't even done it. I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I'm just reporting on it. What the hell?
Yeah, you hadn't even gone there.
Yeah.
And they had you come down later.
But they got these influencers, especially if you have a website, they have you on effing speed dial. Like, you will get emails very quickly.
If you're one of the approved.
Not toe the line. You get emails very
so
quickly.
The whole thing is a bunch of shit. Don't believe anything you read, honestly, about the Starcruiser Hotel unless it's coming out. I wouldn't even say March 1st, because what's going to happen is the diehards are going to go too at the beginning. I'd give it like 2 weeks, a month. And then, look and see what people are saying in general. If it turns out to be great, which it might be, then by all means, go. If you want to spend the money and that's something you really want to do and it matters to you, then go. I mean, even if the reviews, aren't great, but you really, really want to go because it's important to you, then don't let anybody tell you can't go. Just do it. You do you. But if you're wanting to see if it's worth the ridiculous price tag, then just wait. And honestly, right now, I think that are sold out is March and April, which I still question April. And then, there's still openings of moving on after that. So if you hear a lot of good things come April and you still want to go, then I would go.
Yeah, I mean, we actually talked about going briefly. We were like, do we want to do it just to see what it's like? And it's like...
Well, that was back when there's openings in March, and we're like,
But then, like, all that money could go to a good use. We could buy some NFTs.
Piss off Twitter.
I mean, we could. So many more things that we could do with $6,000 than give it to Disney for a subpar Star Trek, Star Wars LARPing experience.
Put it back for a kid's college, something else.
Yeah, right. I mean, so many, and that's the thing. I think average. I mean, I said that normies not checking it out right away or not getting the normie take on it until a few months later, and correctly, somebody on Twitter was like, "Normies aren't going to do this." Like, this is not a normal activity for a normal middle-class family. They're not going to do it. It's going to be for the super rich.
Or for the big, big, big fans.
The huge Disney Star Wars fans. And make no mistake, it's going to be for
Disney Star
Wars fans because it takes place between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, I was seeing these bloggers like, finally, Disney's giving us the wedding between Han and Leia we always wanted. I was like, they did it before. I was like, tell us you don't know what the hell you're talking about without telling us you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm just like, oh my God. I just can't.
But anyway. Even the media, though, they're like, hey, is this even going to be worth it? This is CNET. Maybe they didn't get invited. I wonder if Christian Harloff got invited because he had a shit fit.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
To be fair, though, I actually kind of defended him because he had played...
He was one that covered it and did all this stuff to get it, and then they turned around and give it because they wanted women because of diversity.
And they dangle the carrot. This is how Disney does it. If you have a PR contact, they'll dangle, well, if you do this, we'll give you this. If you do this, we'll play the game. Just hang in there. We'll get you this. We'll get you that.
And they did. Just had to be someone with tits.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, from his point of view, he's like, I've been covering this thing, I've been hyped for it, and then you turn around and give it to her, because that's your demographic that you want. And that's exactly it. You gotta realize, too, like these media events, a lot of times they've got their list of like hundreds of influencers, and they'll cherry pick certain ones that hit the demographic, and those are the ones that get invited to like that specific event.
Or they get to go to interview the certain people to talk to and all that, because they're bigger, or they're, the ones they chose for this one.
Yeah, they have this down to a freaking science.
Like, who they think they're going to leverage the most.
Yes. who can we use the most?
Pretty much.
And they will literally work for cupcakes, for a night at a hotel, things that don't cost us anything.
And it's funny to me because these influencers, they eat it up. They love to go to Disney just to get recognized. Like they're always doing videos, and then they're taking pictures of people because they want people to know who they are and be like, oh my God, it's so and so.
Are you a TikToker? It's like nobody outside of parks goers gives a shit. They really don't. But that being said, like, some of them are actually really, Pete Werner and
no,
Tim
a lot of them are actually really
great.
nice.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
But it's weird. It's usually the smaller ones.
Have the most attitude.
They have the most attitude. I swear to God. Like the bigger guy, because they know, like I'm one of the top whatever. I'm just doing my job. But these other people are like, I have to look the part. I have to do,
Oh, I know. I show up in a tutu for the effing opening of Galaxy's Edge.
It's like, yeah, I mean, come on, come on. But yeah, you're not going to get honesty. It's going to be really interesting to see. I would say, see where we're at in about a month and a half, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say too.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no intention of doing it though. Even if it looks good, I'm like, that's $6,000.
A lot of people are knock another zero off and we'll talk.
Right. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.